folks, here's the next thing we're going to work on. What, a book? What, we're going to read the dictionary here? Nope. I've already done a little bit of the layout here, so I'm going to get to the right page. This is an old book I found in an abandoned house a while back. And we are going to make something you've probably seen in the movies at one time or another. The important thing when you start cutting on this is when you open the book, you don't want to just open it like this, because then if you cut straight down and then when you close the book back up, your cut's going to be at a weird angle like this. So before you start cutting, you got to make sure you got it clamped in place and you got this perpendicular to your work surface. Paper doesn't take too well to cutting. All right, so we got the paper clamped down. The first cut we're going to make is this one here. Now I know that I need to cut most of this to 1 1/8 inches. Where the gun goes is going to be about 1 1/8 inches. This is going to be about 1 inch. And I know the edge of this blade is 1 1/4 inches, so I need to cut down about that deep. You can't cut it all in one shot. You're going to have to cut some, and then flip some pages back, and then cut some more. But what I'm seeing here, I mean, I'm already almost 1/4 inch in on 3 passes. Nothing like a good sharp knife to make this go well. So maybe you were wondering what these blue lines were here and here. I've got it almost to depth. I'm going to take a little bit of space up in here to allow the grip to fit in there. But when you've got the pistol down inside there, it's not real easy to get out. I mean, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some relief here and here to get my fingers and my thumb in there. Before I couldn't get my hands down in there, but now, fingers, thumb, pull. So we've got the book all cut out to where we want it to make the safe out of, and you're probably wondering how we're going to make it easy to open that thing and not have all the pages tear every time you touch it. All right, so here's everything we're going to need to fix the problem. Wax paper, Elmer's glue, a little chip brush, and a little bit of water. We'll grab this and open it and go right to where we need to go. We're going to take these out, get them out of the way. Now this is the last chance you're going to have to make any more, well, not the last chance, I guess you could do some more adjustments later, but realistically you want to have this where you want it by this point. And you want to have this pretty square while you're doing this. So we're going to just clamp the corners down. You want to get it nice and square. Now, Elmer glue. White Elmer glue is going to work best. It's going to dry up a little bit clear. It's not going to turn your pages yellow, so you don't really want to use wood glue for this. You want 1-to-1 glue and water. So I've got about that much water. I'll fill up the glue to about there. And then we're going to stir it up and paste insides of all these little cavities we've made. This glue dissolved. Now you want to work fairly fast because you need to get this book clamped up tight before the pages start to swell. You know, if you've ever seen a book that got wet, it never closes again. So what we're going to do is we're going to paste all these cut edges. You don't really need to paste down this, but it wouldn't hurt. Paste down the bottom and then paste all these cut edges. And down in here is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but we're going to do the best we can. There we go. I guess I was kidding myself if I said you don't have to do the bottom. It looks like this stuff is so runny. It's going to get the bottom wet whether you want to or not. It just kind of floods in there. And then when you're all done, if you want to get really fancy, you can get you some nice felt and line the insides of these. And if you're going to do that, you probably would want to have cut them a little bit larger than you actually need it. And just soak up the extra down in the corners. Maybe even dry off that bottom sheet a little bit. Okay. Unclamp this. We're going to get our wax paper in here. Move this out of the way before we make a daggone mess. Make sure it's good and square. I'm going to paint the edges below the wax paper. Now I can see the book starting to swell a little bit just while I'm doing this, so I'm going to start moving forward here pretty quick. I'm going to wipe off that extra sheen, the extra material. Yeah, some of the edge dye is coming off on the paper towel. Maybe we can leave this back unstuck. Stick another layer of wax paper in there. Make darn sure it's square. You'll never square this book again after this step. There's a big block of wood to spread out. You really want to spread that clamping force out as much as you can. Cinch her up. There it is. We're going to leave it there till tomorrow. We'll come back and show you the results. So it's been about 3 hours. Let's unwrap this and see what we got. Look in there. Stays nice and square. I was able to keep this to where it'll open. I'm going to leave that in there for another day or so just to make sure. As you can see, this is one rigid block right now. It's dry to the touch. just sitting around and you need to get to it real quick. I like it. Get in there, let the finger grabs to make it easy to get a hold of. But now that this is all dried up, another advantage, I'm waiting until now, but we can come in here, come back in here with a chisel and you can clean all these edges up a little bit better. Make some nice, smooth, pretty edges on it. Hey, so the book safe's all done. I want to thank y'all for coming out here and watching in Vinny's shop, and I'm going to give you a look at the finished product here. There it is. Just like that. Nice. Pages are all glued together. And this, I talked some about gluing a piece of felt in here, but this actually works pretty good. As soon as you flip it up, it just goes right to that. The one thing you can do to make this a little easier, and I still may do it, is to cut one of those little finger divots out right here in the top edge of the paper or in the bottom edge right here. You know, like they have in some dictionaries with the A, B, C, D, E, F. They cut a little finger divot out there and make it go even faster. But I don't seem to be having any problem going right to that opening page when I open it. So anyway, it's that simple. You can get a lot fancier if you want. You can paint the inside of the cuts. You can put felt in the bottom. I'm just going to leave it like this. I mean, it serves the purpose just fine. So anyway, thanks for coming out to Vinny's shop, hanging out with me. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like button. Check out some of these other projects I'm working on. I got a big pile of poplar over there. Gonna be working with both of those soon. Talk to you again.